Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV and United Across the Globe show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do smash the like, share, subscribe, do what you can. Today, I'm joined by 4 special guests and hopefully one coming in very soon, Mr. B. How you doing, Yank? Talking, mate. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's still rather early, but I'm never too tired to talk about football. So, it should be exciting.
Exactly, mate. Red Devils, how you doing?
It's doing all good. That's everything. Everything's good. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for coming on, mate. Maisie, how you doing once again?
I'm all well, thank you. How are you?
Doing great, yeah. Hot, as you probably know.
Boiling.
Sweating one out. This is not water, this is sweat. Talk, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. How are you doing a lot?
Doing good. And last but not least, Mr.
Sorry about the timekeeping. Evening.
You all good?
Always good. I'm always good, man. Hi, Maisie.
Hi, you okay?
So, just start off this show then, right? We're going to talk about Paul Pogba. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? I mean, eventually, I think he's going to go. But we'll ask everybody here first. I want to hear your opinion. Yank, mate, you were just saying in the background as well about it. What are your thoughts on this? Because he's going to go?
Yeah, I do think his time with United has come to an end. As much as I kind of am very sad to see it, part of me kind of hopes that him seeing that, bringing in Sancho, possibly bringing in Varane, going after the Stahl and Camavinga and even Goretzka types, convinces him that we're going for some very big name players, and he goes, "Oh, we really are trying to win right now," and hopefully that convinces him to stay on. But as it stands, I see him leaving, but of course, it's not going to be for less than £60 million.
Would you agree with that, Tricky?
I'm not so sure, to be honest. We've been put in a very tough situation with Pogba, where he's on his last year of his contract, of course. But when it comes down to it, in my opinion, I don't think we should be selling him. We've got a very good project right now at Manchester United, something that we have not had in the last, maybe you can say, 10 years. We've got some quality players right now. I'm pretty sure not everyone agrees with the appointment of Oli. Maybe some people want another manager or another quality manager, you can say. But I think we are in our best position that we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And going to either Real Madrid or PSG, in my opinion, is not his best position that you can say. Because at PSG, it is easy, of course, to win some titles with PSG, and they don't really win the Champions League year after year. But for Manchester United, if he does stay at Man United, then he can say that he did stick with Oli and the club. And you've got some players around you right now with the likes of Jadon Sancho, Cavani, Rashford, of course, Bruno Fernandes there. So there's a lot of quality around him now. Of course, when he did come in, he had the likes of Andreas Pereira, Fred, McTominay around him. So a lot has changed in the last maybe 2 to 3 years. So it's going to be quite sad if he does leave for 45 to 50 million pounds right now, because he would be a quality player to be in that team. But it is what it is if he does leave.
I think it might be you, Mr. B, with the bad feedback, but it's all right, mate. It's all right. I'll ask you now anyway, mate. What do you make of that?
I want him to stay. I'll be honest. I want Paul Pogba to stay. He's one of our better players, especially in that position. And we, as Man United, we shouldn't be letting our better players go. Keep him. We need to keep him. Again, it's money. I'm hearing some of the figures that he's been quoted a week, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. Why we would have got ourselves in that position, but that's what Man United do. So the Paul Pogba's got the power at the moment. If we want him to stay, then we're going to have to pay him to stay and hope he performs at a level that warrants that kind of money. Because let's be honest, the 5 years that he's been here, He hasn't earned the money. He's a world-class player, but he hasn't given us world-class performances consistently. So if it means he's going to be getting all of that money and then all of a sudden he decides that the last 6 months, if he plays how he plays for the last 6 months, no issues. If he played how he played for the last 4.5 years before that, then I'm going to have an issue.
I want to keep him. Just want to clarify. I would rather him stay. I just at this point don't see him doing that. I think he believes he's bigger than the club and deserves more than he should be getting.
What about you, Maisie?
For me, I would rather have Pogba stay. Pogba, for me, he is one of the best midfielders in the world, and you can't lie that he isn't. He's very calm, he's very strong on the ball. When he has got a quality defensive midfielder, as it's shown in France, when Kante is alongside him or behind him, he's got that freedom to move around. And at Man United, we don't have that defensive midfielder where he can just be all free and he can go up on the ball or go up, because especially in the first season at United he was playing more of that defensive role, wasn't he? So you didn't really see the potential of Pogba. For me, United need to push now on getting this contract. If he hasn't signed a contract by the start of August, I'd say put him on the market, because we cannot afford to let Pogba go on a free. It would be absolutely criminal to let Pogba go on a free when we have spent so much money on him. For me, if he doesn't sign it by the start of August, sell him. But I don't want him to go, but it's the only option we'd have to take.
Well, you were saying as well, right, Yank, that it was PSG were trying to get him for around 42 million.
43 million.
Which is an insult, really.
Would you be down if he doesn't? I'll be a devil's advocate. Throw a little bit of a spicy mix into here. Two players that are on pretty much near expiring contracts, in Pogba and another man I mentioned, Goretzka. If we're able to do a swap deal with maybe a little bit of cash going one way or the other for Pogba for Goretzka, would that be something you think? If he doesn't accept it enough, if you say it's August 5th, Pogba has not accepted an extension. We have a deal in place for maybe 10 million and Pogba going the other way to Bayern Munich for Goretzka. Mm-hmm. Would that be something where people would say yes, or would that be a no?
Tom, yeah. Why don't you answer that there in descriptive words?
Well, the Goretzka swap. Yeah, it's an option. I mean, I've not really watched an awful lot of Goretzka, really, to be honest with you. So I can't really make an opinion or a comparison to him with Pogba. But in terms of Pogba himself, I mean, you know what? I just think the only way it's going to work for Pogba to stay at the club is if he wants to play and he wants to put his heart in it, and we also get a number 6 behind him to free him up. If that we don't get even, and without both of those things, it ain't going to work. So either way, this is a I don't know what you're saying about the contract, Maisie, and that, but for me, that conversation needs to be had first and foremost. Because if Ollie knows that we are going to be bringing in a number 6, then he's got to have this conversation with Pogba. Do you want to stay because you want to play for the club, or do you want to stay just because you can get more money out of us and blah blah blah, right? And at the end of the day, we could find ourselves in a real pickle here, because you know what? When it comes to that kind of money a week, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that." Once that contract's signed, things start dropping off. Where do we find ourselves then? We can't have that. We have to. This is for me where Ollie, we're Manchester United, but no player is bigger than the club. I don't care how good he is, right? There's no player bigger than our club. And at the end of the day, he's had for me, he's had more than his opportunities. He's had more opportunities for me than you can muster. So I just think Ollie has to make the decision now and show to the rest of the squad that he actually is the boss. I'm making a decision. Pogba, we are selling you. If you have to take a loss, but move him on and show the squad. I'm made to make big decisions in favour of the team and then bring in somebody else to freshen it up and move forward. We cannot stand still like it. We never have and we never will.
I think go on, sorry, I was just quickly going to say that I think he's kind of got the ball in his court, because, you know, he can just run it out. And he knows that Ollie, if he says, I'm not signing a new contract and I'm not leaving until next year, Ollie will still use him. Like, that's certified. Like, he's not going to go, well, you're benched the whole season. No one's bigger than the club. And I know you're right, Tom. But during this age, and with the agent that he's got as well, who's a greedy bastard, we all know it. It's in his ear. Wait a year, and that money's ours. That 50 million that they want for you is ours.
One sec. But then you've hit the nail on the head, because don't forget that the agent fees business is changing after January, I think.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to happen in January. Mino Raiola is going to want to get a really big cut of any kind of transfer.
It's 25 million
so
for an agent fee.
It's in his best interest for Pogba to make a move now. So it's down to the board and Ole to decide what's the fee going to be. Are we prepared to take a loss? Because if they've got their eyes on other players who are kind of like waiting and going, well, look, do you want me or not? Hanging on to reject others or accept others. It's a tricky negotiating and balancing act that Ole needs to get right. And if he doesn't, we're going to find ourselves in a right pickle. Paul Pogba will be sat. Making in like $500,000 a week. Crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Talking of tricky. What do you make, mate? What do you make of that? Maybe like doing a swap deal or something, or do you think he's going to wait until next season and then go on a free and get money?
All I'm going to say, if he is to leave United this season or this summer, I don't want a number 8. I don't want a Goretzka type player to come to United. I want a number 6. So if we are to sell Pogba for, say, £50 million, then go for a Locatelli. Go for you can say an Ndidi or a Rice. There has been rumors saying that we can get Rice now for 60 to 70 million pounds. I think that's not that bad because we've got Jesse Lingard, a player that West Ham does want to force. So I think a deal can happen here. I don't want a swap deal with maybe Goretzka with Paul Pogba. I want a number 6 right there because I think people do forget this. We do have Van de Beek right there. Yeah, Van de Beek is.
Van de Beek was more brought in for Bruno, I thought, though. He was more brought in to be the backup for Bruno.
He's a very versatile player. He plays more as an 8 and as a 10 as well. So he is one of the best young midfielders in Europe, or he was, you can say, 2 years ago. He's right there.
Would you agree, right, in this setup, Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes on the left, and Donny van de Beek on the right? That'll work.
That would be quality. That would be quality.
I think a good example.
With the Pogba team. One sec. With the Pogba situation, this is what I'm saying. Why do we need to make things complicated for ourselves and make it all about Paul Pogba as if Paul Pogba makes the whole thing work? It's crazy. No, we can't work like that as a club at Man United. We've got to go, no, listen. You've had your chance. You've had your opportunity. We're going to sell you now, and we're going to get in Declan Rice. We're going to give Donny van de Beek his chance, and at the same time, we're going to be then also talking to players for like next summer or in the January transfer window if Donny van de Beek can't quite cut it. But I think Donny van de Beek will cut it because he's a quality player.
I hope he is.
Jadon Sancho on the right to back him up. But you think about that there, that triangle of Jadon Sancho, right? Donny van de Beek and Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Talk everybody, you heard it here. Like, talk for sporting director at Man United. He's got the clear intentions. This is what we want to hear. Mr. B, what's your thoughts on it? What everyone's saying? Are you still on mute?
Yeah, I'm like Tricky. I don't want a different sort of player to Paul Pogba. If Pogba goes, I want a player that plays like Paul Pogba. I don't know who that is. I'm not the chief scout of Man United, but there's characteristics that Paul Pogba has, like his range of passing, things like that. These are things we can't be going out there and buying Fred or McTominay clones. So I think we need to. They need to get those decisions right. At the moment, we're in limbo. Is he going to sign? Is he not going to re-sign? I said a year and a half ago that I thought he was going to leave on a free, just because, one, the way the club was or is still being run. 2 years, they weren't brave enough. You've got 2 years on your contract. If you're not going to sign, then the power then becomes, and now look, he's going to be commanding what he wants. You know, 450 grand a week. And so what happens when he underperforms, or if he underperforms? Rashford's contract comes up, and he says to himself, "Well, hold on a minute. He's on 450, under one banging in all the goals, or Bruno. Come on, man."
Bruno's getting done now, which is great. Bruno's getting done now instead.
Mr. B, this is what I was getting at. This is what I was getting at. You know what I mean? You cannot allow one player to become the focal point of the team. You can't. You just can't, because it's not about one player. It's not about,
But it kind of always has been with Man United's DNA. We've always had that one player that was like you look at Best, George Best, you had Ronaldo.
Yeah, I know you're saying from that point of view, but what I'm saying is you can't make. They were players who wanted to play for the club. It only happened turned out that when Ronaldo started to talk about Real Madrid, Ferguson did the right thing, which was go and put his arm around him and say, "Right, listen, son, you play for me one more season, you win us that league, and you can move on." And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So I think a good example of this, and like
Yank and then Maisie finish it off, and then we'll go on to the next subject of Kieran Trippier. Yank, go for it.
I think a good example of this, and someone who's not nearly as good, is Eric Bailly's situation, who his brother started chatting a bunch of crap, his father started chatting a bunch of crap, and he's like, "I'm going to run down my contract if you don't play me," which he doesn't deserve because he hasn't stayed healthy. And we kind of just went, "All right, then you're going to be sold." And the whole fan base went, "All right, then you're going to be sold." And a lot of people, including me, I still think he should be sold. I mean, if you're going to be built of glass, and you don't have the stuff to make it even when you are playing, you sell him. And it's the same with Pogba. The fact that we're saying that we can get Declan Rice without making any player sales, especially irrespective of Pogba, apparently we have the cash to go on for Declan Rice. Why not then go and get someone very similar to him, like a Goretzka or a Saul, or, even I'll throw in a player from a team that I'm a big fan of, Neuhaus from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who's been playing very well and has been shouted around to be a player of interest to a lot of teams in midfield. Why not? If we can get a Declan Rice, irrespective of Pogba leaving, if Pogba does leave, why not get a player like him out of it and increase that depth? I don't want to not get a player to replace Pogba, not because I want Van de Beek to not shine. I want Van de Beek to shine, but that depth needs to be there. Look at City. They have 2 starting 11s of top-tier talent. Imagine if we had top-tier talent at every position. We had that depth to really go at City.
Van de Beek. Sorry.
No, let Maisie go. Tricky, I'll let you go after, and we'll go straight on to Kieran. Go on, Maisie.
Hearing everybody's opinion, I completely agree with Talk, because at the end of the day, it feels like it's all about Paul Pogba, and that's all you're hearing. Paul Pogba this, Paul Pogba that, Paul Pogba's agent. It shouldn't be like that at the end of the day, and it's like nobody is bigger than Man United. As much as I would like Pogba to stay, if he isn't going to perform for us, put him on the transfer market at the start of August. That gives then 31 days for a club to bid, and we can just sell him off, because I don't want Pogba to go on a free. It would be criminal to sell him on a free when we spent so much money. And what I also think as well, why would Pogba even want to go to PSG? He's apparently want to go to clubs for trophies, yet PSG bottled the league last season. They haven't even won the Champions League before. What's so attractive about PSG's football? What any other team doesn't play? Clearly is the money, isn't it? If he does go to
Real
PSG.
Madrid and Juventus don't have the financial situation to bring him in. Apparently those two are on his list higher. He would rather go to Juventus or Real Madrid, but their financial situation is so in the toilet that they can't afford to bring him back if they wanted to. So he's got the money with PSG.
Is worth 500k per week.
I mean, apparently Griezmann is.
Well, Barcelona is just very stupid giving Griezmann that amount, but Paul Pogba, I wouldn't pay 500k for him. So if he wants demanding that 500k, I'd just put him on the transfer market there and then, because I say, you're not having 500k, mate. You can go.
Do you know what, as well? The other thing here is what the effect it has on the team, right? The effect on the team. You're in that team, right? And then they're all talking about Paul Pogba, and it's got to be Paul Pogba. It's got to be Pogba. We've got to make it work for Pogba. You've got to give him this. You've got to give him that. Blah blah blah. Then you're like, right, okay then. So then you're working all around Paul Pogba. Then Paul Pogba either gets injured or spits his dummy out and goes in a mood and it's stop performing on the pitch, and where do we go then? The whole team. It has an effect on the team. We're talking about human beings here. We're not talking about machines. They're just like us. Things affect your confidence. And this is like the perfect example I will use is Liverpool last season after Van Dijk got injured. Wallop, the confidence went right down the sink, mate. So, and that was just with one player, and then Klopp had to move players about, midfielders at defence, etc. You ain't got that same kind of confidence when you're playing football when somebody else you've been playing with alongside, and you've gone and won a Premier League and a Champions League and been playing absolutely amazing football, who's been backing you up week in, week out, then they are suddenly changed. But then you've still got that same expectation. It doesn't work.
Tricky.
It just doesn't work.
You agree? Would you agree with talk on that? Just to end it off, and then we'll Kieran.
I think Pogba is such a massive talking point because of how good Pogba is. But with the situation, it really hasn't worked with Manchester United. It hasn't really worked in the last maybe 4 to 5 years, you can say. I think last season he had a good period with Manchester United until Christmas, where he got injured. And I think we actually collapsed once he got injured. We were first going into Christmas, and once he got injured, we completely collapsed. I think he's a very important player for Manchester United, and I would love for Pogba to stay. But I do agree with him, to be honest. If he is to leave, then no one is bigger than the club. My biggest talking point when he does leave is who we replace Pogba with. Do we actually trust the club to replace Paul Pogba? Because we've seen how incompetent the club and the board is. Do we trust the club to really replace Paul Pogba if he does leave? I'm not so sure. I'm honestly not so sure if he does leave, we would replace him.
Will it take a decade like it took us to replace Ronaldo, basically?
Yeah.
I think Donny was Pogba's replacement because they probably thought he was going to leave, and I think he was probably bought as a replacement. And with him not leaving, that's probably why Donny hasn't been playing. So I think, especially if he does leave, we'll see a lot more of him.
I hope so. I like Donny.
Hopefully.
Let's go on to the news that a possibility that Kieran Trippier of Atletico Madrid won La Liga last season, played in the final of the Euro Cup against England. I mean, start with you, Mr. B, mate. Like, do you think this would be good for Man United? Do you think he would pick Aaron Wan-Bissaka to the place, or do you think he's just someone for backup and just for a spot and squad depth?
Squad depth one, definitely. But I would like to think that if they've bought him to improve Wan-Bissaka's game, at the end of the day, they spent 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. And he played every single minute of every single game. I don't have any problem if they're rotated throughout the whole season, game by game. If it's a game where we've got, somebody who they feel is going to be who we're going to dominate, then it might be a game to play Trippier because he's better going forward. That is fact. But defensively, no right back is better than Wan-Bissaka in the league. I could say Europe. I could put Europe on the end of that. So let's be honest. If Trippier comes in, I think it's great that we've got two different fullbacks. One who's great at going forward, and one who is absolutely fantastic defending. That's where Ollie's coaching maybe will, or team selection maybe will be as an advantage, So yeah, I would take Trippier. The money, I don't know what they're quoting for him, what's being quoted, but you don't really want to be spending more than 25 million on a backup right back. And Atletico, are they desperate to sell him? Probably not. So there has to be somebody else maybe in the pipeline, but hopefully a right back will come. Whether it's Trippier or not, I have no idea, but we definitely do need cover at right back.
What about you, Yank, mate? What are you thinking? You think it would be good for us? Do you agree with Mr. B on what he said there?
Yeah, I think Mr. B's kind of sums it up perfectly. I don't want him for more than 25 million. It's a backup, and having that rotation of Sean Tellez on one side and Trippier and Sean the other side, where we have two different styles of play for each fullback, is great. But I think not only does it bring a rotation element of, you know, a great addition, it brings. Imagine playing them all at once. Imagine we need to play a 5 at the back against a very, very attacking team, and we go with that 5. We have 2 players in Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw who can play as, you know, right and left center back if needed. And you have someone like like Tellez who can play on left wing back, and someone like Trippier who can play right wing back. Well, we have a back 3 of, say, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, and Shaw, who all know how to do their jobs and all know how to defend really well when it comes to tackling and, you know, staying with the player. And that allows us not only a good, solid defense, but a lot going forward. You know, when you have defenders that can attack like Luke Shaw can, and you have wing backs like Tellez and Trippier who attack like they can, just in your defense, that just adds a whole element of a really big threat to other teams for us going forward.
I'm just going to shout out a few comments before I get everybody else involved on that, because I completely forgot about comments, which is always important. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash the like, share, subscribe. Monday says, hiya, panel. Looking forward to the chat. Thank you very much. Rich Sport says, big up, people.
Yes, Rich.
Can you see that coming up? Is that clear for you? It's not quite clear for me on my side. Rich Sports,
is it easy with Poch? Domestic title is usually open goal for PSG.
Which is true.
Can you not read it, Matt? No?
No, it's just coming up very slowly for me. Fight to keep him up at the club. He's a quality player. Pay him what he's worth. It would be a huge statement if he stays. Hey, Matt, Maisie, and the panel.
Hey.
Big up.
Yo, static.
Big up, mate. Rich Sports as well. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do smash that like and subscribe. We are nearly at 650, on the road to 700, and hopefully on the road to 1K in the next millennium. Fox says Pogba not worth the hassle, and he also says he doesn't want to be here. He's making noise about going. Let him go.
Yeah.
Maisie, let's not. We'll get on that at the end again, but let's keep going on the Kieran thing. Maisie, what do you think of this?
With Kieran Trippier, yeah, I would like him at Man United. It would be good for that bit of competition for Wan-Bissaka to improve going forward. From what I was reading, Atletico Madrid want 40 million for Trippier. Not a chance to pay 40 million. If, for example, they want that 40 million, they won't go any lower than I would look elsewhere, especially when he's on his final year of his contract and he's not going to be used as a crucial player. There's no point in spending 40 million on a player, is there? If, for example, Trippier does come and they decide, yeah, let's play him as a right back, we can start Wan-Bissaka, try him as a centre back, but on the right, see how he goes. He's quick. He's good at one-on-one tackling. So that could be a good area. And I think Ole should really try that in pre-season, see what he's like as a centre-back, because I think he actually may be pretty good in that position. But even if, like you say, if he comes and then they think, yeah, let's do a rotation. Because, like, if you looked at, like, Wan-Bissaka, it would be absolutely crucial in a game like against Man City, because he's really good at one-on-one tackling with Sterling, and you think, yeah, let's do it. And then you think with Trippier, it could be good with someone against Leeds because he's got plenty of more space to run. So both are using different games. So maybe rotation would be good, but I wouldn't pay 40 million, not a chance.
What about you, Talk?
Well, listen, you know what? At the end of the day, what's the price of success? You know what? If Ollie and the coaching staff have identified Trippier as a key component to their plans going forward, just pay the money. Just pay the money. You can't be messing about with these signings. If they've identified him, like I just said, then just pay the money. Just get it done, because I would like him at the club, if I'm honest with you, because experience. He's a good player. Backup, strength in depth. He will be, as Maisie said, will be great in certain games, specific games where you see we have to give Ollie credit here, because what he's identifying is where we were struggling against low block teams, right? So he's trying to remedy that. And for me, Kieran Trippier would be, a great. And for the 40 million, I mean, if the board are giving that kind of money up for Ollie to spend, get it spent. Just go and get him. Don't mess about. You know what I mean? This is what I don't get. Listen, under Alex Ferguson and Gill, they didn't never mess about. Go to the board, right? What we got to spend here? Let's just spending money right now. Fuck off and spend it. And that's what we did. David Gill would get the instructions from Fergie, and he'd go and do the business. Well, before we knew it, the job's done. End of story. So we can't be dillying about. I'm going, but what about this and what about that? Bollocks. If the coaching staff are not good enough to identify what we need and where we need it, then they've got to jog on. So don't be dilly-dallying. Identify, buy, and win.
Tricky, what about you?
I think I have a slightly different opinion to yours. I think we forget some of the players that we've got in our squad. Diogo Dalot is right there, 20 years old, 21. Had in my opinion, a very decent season with AC Milan last season. Played a couple of games, played consistent games, something that he wanted with AC Milan last season. I watched him with the Euros under 21s as well. Portugal went to the final against Germany, lost 1-0, but he was very good as well. And then he played for Portugal's first team. His debut against Belgium faced the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku, and really held his own. I think Diogo Dalot can. I've got faith in Dalot. I don't know what your guys' opinions are on Dalot, but I think he's a very good right back. And he's in the squad. He wants to play games, and I don't think he's going to be too gutted about not playing consistent games ahead of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Paying 35 to 40 million pounds on Kieran Trippier, I think he's a decent player. I like watching him, and I've watched him for Atletico Madrid last season, and of course for Spurs before. But we've got Dalot right there, and I think he's a quality right back. I think he gives us something as well that Aaron Wan-Bissaka does not possess. Attacking wise, of course, he's flawless attacking wise in my opinion. He puts a cross in 9 times out of 10. It is accurate, and we've seen it before. I just don't think he's had his opportunity at Manchester United yet, especially under Ole. So I think we should give Dalot one more season next season. You can say if he does not deliver, then all right, you can say sell Dalot and just go for another right back.
Well, he's only been there half a year. Like, we've got to give him a little bit longer days. I mean, you don't buy someone for 30 million and then sell them like after half a year or a year. So that would be crazy.
Listen, what we've got to remember here and take into serious consideration is that how Ole has got us to where we are now, with the whole momentum, the whole shift in the mentality and the confidence and everything else. This is where Ole cannot afford to make too many mistakes. This is what I'm saying. So we'd like Pogba and someone like Dalot. I mean, Dalot, I agree. Yeah, Dalot he's a good player. He's got a lot of potential. But from Ole's point of view, if the money's there to be spent, Ole has to think, right? Can I afford to gamble right now? No, we can't, because we all know that Manchester City and probably Liverpool, them two definitely are gonna start the season, I should imagine, quite strong, and we have to keep hold of their coattails, or if not better, their collars. We have to do a Chiellini. We have to keep hold of that collar and pull it tight. We have to be there with them. So if we let any kind of gap, grow, we're going to be, Ole's going to be not in a good place. The team are not going to be in a good place. So for me, I just think keep Dalot on. Whether you keep him on loan or you just keep him at the club and he's happy to sit and wait for his opportunity. But at the same time, like I say, for 40 mil, you can get somebody who can just come straight into that team and go, yeah, no problem. I know exactly what I needed to do. I've got lots of experience of doing it. Cool, no problem. Then that for me is priceless when you're trying to win the league.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to shout out a few more comments, and I'll ask Yank what he thinks, and then we'll go on to what we think of the pre-season games. Muncie said, oi, oi, big up Maisie and Stoz. I couldn't make it on. See you hopefully next week, Muncie, right? Also, a message here for Mr. B.
2 sugars. 2 sugars, Mr. B. What's that mean?
You're good at making
hey,
tea.
Sugar. Hey, sugar.
we need a new tea person at Man United because our facilities are bad. And you can
Thanks,
do it.
Muzzy.
If you can do it out of a normal kettle, that would be perfect for Man United. It's
Thanks,
leaking,
Muzzy.
but hopefully you can sort that out.
I'd like a nice, either an Earl Grey or a Lady Grey, if you don't mind.
Oh, great. PG tips or Tetleys.
Don't worry, I don't
What's
drink tea
tea?
or coffee, so you
I
don't
don't
have to
drink
worry about
tea.
me at all.
I drink
You don't
coffee and that's it. I drink coffee and that's it.
You don't drink green teas. And I know America, like, they say, let's have a tea. They'll have an Earl Grey, like Bryce said.
Hey, hold on. Let me tell you this. If someone puts anything in front of me that's green, I ain't fucking drinking it, mate. You got no chance.
No, I
No,
don't.
sorry.
I mean, Americans drink tea, but I prefer a nice cup of coffee over. I don't drink tea.
No,
Yeah.
to be honest, right? Listen, I do like cardamom in tea. You put some cardamoms in tea, boom, happy days.
Well, there you go. Everybody in the comments, type in what you prefer. Are you a tea drinker? Are you coffee? Are you a beer? Or do you drink green stuff? Herbal, maybe, I think we're talking about.
Read stuff.
Which you can do. Milkshakes in California, so that does happen.
Sanderberg.
That's at me. That's at me.
Rich Sports says, if Pogba left, Man United would be fine. Yeah,
Yes,
we always
Rich
are.
Sports.
We would.
Yes, Rich.
What's his name? Falcao left and we were fine.
Di
I
Maria
just
left.
wish-
We were fine.
I
Ronaldo
just wish-
left.
We didn't do fine after that.
We
I
did
don't
do.
think.
But look at what happened when we had the kids. They're just kids. We sold off all the people that complained about the class of '92, and then the class of '92 ended up blowing up. We'll be fine.
We will be fine. I do. I think Man United will get back on top, but we've got to get the Glazers out. I think. Hopefully, we can all agree on that. Box, money, which people do like money. Yes, they do. Yeah, the whole sport's surrounded by it, isn't it? Pretty much. It wasn't back in the day. Prime Ronaldo, Messi, worth that money, and even then, it's far too much. Yeah, I agree. Jordan also says,
Yo, big up Jordan.
big up Jordan from Jamaica, right? Jordan's from Jamaica,
Yeah.
right? Talk.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Big up
man.
to Jordan, man. It's a great lad.
Climate
Great lad.
there at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it's beautiful weather, like it is here. But apart from like when you're in land, like I am.
Anthony, cousin, listen. I'll do it in your accent, right? You see that there Trippier, right? He's going to go to Man United. He's going to win the league. He ain't going to come to Arsenal. He wants to come to Arsenal. I mean, we're a dead club like Arsenal. We're gone. You got League Two there, mate. You're off. Get in your tractor and get round.
I mean,
them
Arsenal
fields.
can't even get in the Conference League at this point. So do we really need to be discussing how close Arsenal is to us?
Do you know what? On a serious note, quickly, last night's stream about Arsenal with Stephen on it, etc. I think, yeah, for me, I see Arsenal getting around that top 6 place, having a bit of a ding dong with Leeds. I think if Arsenal and Leeds around that kind of area.
Arsenal, they've got one game a week. They should be able to make top 4 with one game a week.
No, they
No,
won't.
they can't get top 4. No, top 6,
Yeah,
but
but they
not
should-
top 4.
That's all they
Top
can
4.
go for. Though. There's
Yeah, but
nothing
no, they
else.
haven't got that. They haven't got those extra bit of minerals, Matt, for me. We're talking. You need Lucasade here, and they've
Yeah,
got like
I'm not saying they're going to
they've
get
got
it.
Tesco's.
That's all they can
They've
go
got-
for. They
they've
should
got
be able
Tesco's
to.
own brand, and it ain't the same, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
I know. Okay, Box says Man City rotates Zinchenko, Cancelo, Mendy, Walker. Big up Solo Man United agenda. I will be on there later. I believe Mr. B as well, right? The quiz is on later. That's why I'm sweating right now because I haven't done my maths. I haven't done my research. Sorry, he said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So sorry, I've been out all day celebrating my birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
How's it feel to be 21, mate? How's it feel?
Hmm.
I remember when I turned 21.
I don't think he had to
Last
be.
year.
I'm not saying he could be. Is he 21? Mr. B, tell us. How old is he? Or should we keep that confidential?
I have no idea what his age is, but he's definitely older than 21.
At least we can say double digits. He's at least double digits.
Yeah.
You can make what number, what age he is.
I told it. Speaking of money, I told my fiance, who's again, I just said non-sports at all, does not listen to sports. I said, I told her about Griezmann's salary of being 80. She's like, that's too high for anybody, and it's just insane. Like, I've told her sometimes the salaries of some football players, and she'll just go, "That's too high." Period. Like no one should be making that kind of money in any job, let alone playing. I get it. I'm not going to say you just kick a ball around, but come on. I think it's all sports. People shouldn't be making tens of millions a year to play a sport.
Yeah.
That money could be used so much better for. Look what happens if soccer doesn't make that much money. Maybe that money, if we had different owners, of course. If people only say if there's a cap where players only can make $250,000 a week max. That is the max any player across the world could make. That money that we save already by a lot of people going down to $250,000 or below, that could fix our stadium. We could have the best stadium in the world again.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good.
Listen, Old Trafford needs levelling and rebuilding. But big shout out to Harshal Shah there.
Needs a bigger rebuild than Sunderland.
Big out to leave Paul Pogba, and leave Fred out of the conversation, please. I wanted to maybe talk about this maybe before we get onto pre-season, because it's actually a good point from Jordan, and I think there's obviously some reasoning to it. Maybe because it's on holiday, they want him to come back. Mr. B, mates, take us away. Why is Sancho? Why has it not been announced yet, even though everybody's thinking this is 100%?
Because that's what United do. They like to suck the joy and pleasure out of every single transfer. We know he's been signed. You know he's been signed. You know he's been signed. You know he's been signed. And everybody else knows he's been signed. But Man United are sucking the joy and the pleasure out. That's what they do. That's what they do. He's there. He's done. It's been done. Are they selling shirts with 16 on? Are they selling shirts with 7 on? This is just typical. This is just typical Man United. This part of it. Get the deal done. What have they done now? He's gone away on holiday. What do they need? What needs to be done? He's done. He's a Man United player. Get it done. Get it out there. Everybody keeps telling me they're gonna have a revealing of Sancho and Varane, in the same video. Now, if they're gonna do that, then I'll shut my mouth. I will shut my mouth. I'm not bothered about nothing.
If they want to do a triple announcement with Sancho, Varane, and a Trippier or a Camavinga all at once, I will bow down and go, I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry I said anything.
I don't want them to leave it till the very last day, because my heart could not take it anymore. You'll get to that day, you'll go, yes, come in, and then it got nothing. Like nothing. The fax machine broke or something. Maisie,
don't say that, man.
Maisie, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What you thinking? Why they haven't announced it? Do you agree with everybody else?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself. I even wrote it on my Twitter last week. About Sancho not being announced, and I even thought, maybe they are going to do a double announcement with Varane. Because it just seems a bit odd, isn't it? Because when you assigned a player, you just want to do that video and get it out so you can show the fans, the rivals, that look, we have got this player now. All we got was a crappy little picture going, "Welcome, Jadon Sancho." Where is the promo video? Give me the promo video. But I really do feel like it may be a double announcement, hopefully triple. But if they do, I'd say, you know what? Fair play to you, and I was right too.
Give me Jadon Sancho whipping it across with Varane meeting it in the middle of the box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just give me that announcement video. Just Sancho getting a Man United ball, like a red and gold Red Devils ball, whipping it into the box and having Varane smash it into the goal, and then have it just flash to them two back to back, saying we're here. It's just like we're here. Welcome to. I'd love them to say welcome to Manchester, purely because I can't stand the whole Tevez thing that happened, and I think that would be the biggest banter thing in the world for them to say welcome to Manchester, and then have us win the league over City.
That'd be good, right? Tricky. What do you think?
I'm having that.
Yeah, Tricky.
Yeah. I'm not so sure, to be honest. All I'm going to say is I had 4 days in a row on Twitter, literally tweeting every single hour. 1 hour until the announcement. Nope. All right. Go into the other hour. 1 hour until the announcement. Nope. I literally did that for 4 days in a row, and nothing happened. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. I think Romano came out and said a couple of days ago it's down to some paperwork that is missing or something. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But you get a bit scared. I'm not sure why. I'm a bit worried that the deal is not going to go.
Dortmund said on their side. Dortmund said on their side it's done.
Yeah.
They're actually waiting on us to announce it because they're going in for Malen, and they're like, "We're done. We've done everything we could on our side. We're waiting for you to announce so we can sign our player."
Hopefully, it does get announced this week. I'm not sure if it is, but if it's not going to get announced this week, then we're going to have to wait next week, maybe the week after. I'm not sure.
Well, look, I'd take that. I mean, you see what Arsenal are doing with like buying Ramsdale for 32, 35 million or whatever, and they sold Martinez. That's joke transfers. Right, so I'm glad I'm not in that position where like we're losing out. Talk. What about you?
I'm not too concerned, to be honest. I think it could very well be what was mentioned there about some paperwork or some little ism. I'm not too concerned about it, to be honest. I think that's already done and dusted. Whether would they really want to wait and do it? Because it has happened before with your big old partial. What was it? Patrice Evra and Nemanja Vidic signed together. They remember that. Remember Fergie with them two.
The glory days.
I know.
I was like, what are you doing? Why are you getting in Patrice Evra? Why are you playing? I was like, we got Gabriel Heinze, but it turned out to be the right thing, didn't it? In the end, like.
He ended up being one of the best players to play for us, honestly. For looking at Patrice Evra, one of the best defenders to play for United. I think United fans like to take for granted because of what's going on nowadays. We like to take for granted how blessed this fan base has been with the talent we've seen come through our doors and the players we've seen wear the badge. I mean, if you just count the list of the top 15 players of the last 2 decades that have come through our doors, it's a debate for who makes that top 15. It's not. There's only maybe 5 or 6 players that are for sure in that top 15. The rest can pretty much, I think, be debated. And it's incredible that we've been blessed like that.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. B, what did you make? Do you think that why have they not announced it, Mr. Sancho yet? Have I asked you already? I haven't, have I?
Yeah, you did. You asked me first. Yeah, you asked me first.
I like you so much, I have to ask you twice.
It's all that green tea you're drinking, mate.
I know, man. Very forgetful on that, you know what I mean? Very high stuff. The very high strength.
Actually, I just want to say on that front that green tea is a great thing. So, it's really, really good for you.
He backtracks. His green tea sponsor rang up and said, "You said what about green things?"
That's it. That's exactly it, Connor. That's it, mate.
Says just don't mix with alcohol, and then I was just like,
Earl Grey himself just rang me and he said, "I say, how dare you?"
But let's talk about the pre-seasons. Obviously, we played. Come on, trivia now. Who did we play last in the pre-seasons? I know we got
Derby was last game.
We had Derby and we have QPR up next.
What do you make of that game? Seeing that, and Tellez was playing as well. We've heard that he might potentially be going to Roma, but he says he's very happy at the club. So I think that's a good sign because we still got that competition and that squad depth. Mr. B, let's start with you, mate. What do you make of the pre-season friendlies?
I was so glad to see so much of our youngsters playing, like academy kids. What did we have all in all? 17 playing.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. All right, let's be honest. Not much of them are probably going to get any starts this season, but if teams are looking for people to loan out, I think this game, the Derby game and the QPR game are going to be the game where that's going to be the batch of players that play. The next 2 or 3 is when you're going to see the Paul Pogbas, hopefully Martial, touch wood. Martial's going to be in there as well. And I think that's where it's going to be. That's where we're going to see the progression. And then obviously those players who played, Ghana, he'll definitely get loaned out again. There's players out there who need that first team experience. So I'm hoping that it was more used as a shop window maybe for me. Look, Chon played. He scored the day before he left to Birmingham. He's going to Birmingham buzzing. So maybe that's how we'll use it. So going forward, yeah, and another thing as well, I'm glad that we stayed in the UK, if I'm honest. The fact that there's not much travel. I know it was down to pandemic, but Arsenal chose to fly out, and obviously if it wasn't for COVID, they would have been over there. So I'm glad that we chose to do everything at home. So yeah, I mean the level of teams that we're playing, okay, maybe
They can't say we
not
lost to Hibs,
quite.
though.
Say again?
They can't say that we lost to Hibs, though.
You give a Stephen stick for that, Maisie, a little bit.
Stephen won't have any of it.
No.
He doesn't allow Arsenal talk right now on any of his streams.
I know, yeah. When you lose to him, you lose your ribs. That's what I say.
Oh, Steven.
Speak of the devil, he shall appear.
Losing to salt and pepper ribs.
Get rid of Pogba and Fred. They ain't good enough. McTominay is the man going forward. Are you mad, Rom?
What?
Who's this guy? Sorry, who is he?
No, he's been
Don't know,
romped.
never seen-
He has
32, never seen him before.
been romped the wrong way. But thank you so much for your thoughts.
I rather agree with him. I think,
Hey, yes, please
Listen.
go on, because I'm
Hold on,
shouldn't
hold on.
ask
Listen.
that. That's someone's opinion, and
Wait. Hold on. McTominay is a you know what? He's a good player, but at the end of the day, he's not the kind of player that we can rely on to.
but
do
can we
the number.
judge him off of being a defensive? Here's the thing: we judge him as a defensive midfielder when
box to box?
exactly he's a box to box, but he played as a double pivot. That means he doesn't. It's like Pogba having to play deep. Neither of them have played their natural position, and yet, McTominay had as many goals in the league as Martial had all season. He had 7 goals in all competitions. Martial has 4. Martial has 4 goals. McTominay had 7.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but I don't think it's the answer.
I don't think he's the answer. I think he's a squad player. I'm not saying he's the future. Him and James are squad players, but there's no reason to sell McTominay when he's doing 7 from the pivot.
Mr. B, you were about to go get that green tea out of the cupboard, weren't you? I saw you.
It's all right. I'm glad that he finished what he said about him being a squad player. I'm happy now. I'm fine now.
He's in the kitchen. I thought the wooden spoon was coming.
Wow, yeah, I tell you, man. I heard some of the stuff you were saying. I'm thinking, sorry. I'm thinking, bloody hell. But yeah, you finished it up well. So yeah, my
I was getting uninvited off of everybody's channel at once there. Everybody at once is going, yeah, he's blacklisted.
What about you, mate? Would you agree with this statement from Rob32? Shouts out to you as well. Thank you for the comment, mate.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. You know what? Last season, I absolutely despised McTominay. I'm not going to lie. I don't hate him as a player, but for that season, seeing McTominay and Fred in that double pivot is honestly one of the worst midfield partnerships I've ever watched. And for these two players to play for Manchester United, it is a bit harsh, you can say, but you try and enjoy watching Man United, but for that midfield partnership, watching them, you can say every single week, because they did play every single week, you can say, it was not enjoyable at all. And for McTominay, I think he's a very controversial player, but I don't think he's the man going forward. No, I don't think so.
I'll say this now. We do not beat West Ham without him in the cup because he had the only goal in the 1-0 win.
Don't say that. No, don't.
We don't. If he does not score that goal, we do not.
If he was not there, just not even in the starting 11, we would have won 3-4-0. I'm not having that. No,
we had
McTominay.
How about his first 2 goals in Leeds? How about the fact that he was one of our best players in the Europa final? It's been agreed that he was one of the best players in the Europa
He
League
was.
final for United. So I don't think it's him that's the problem. I think that back two is a disaster. But I don't think the players themselves in those back two are disasters. Neither of them have been able to play their games. It's the same thing if you're taking – I've said this with Daniel James. Daniel James is a left winger. He started his first game, he's a left winger. What does he do? Score on his debut. Where does he play for Wales? Left wing. What does he do for Wales? Create one of the most chances in all the Euros. When you play players out of position, they're obviously not going to be near as good. It's like playing David De Gea as a fucking left wing. Obviously, he's not going to be nearly as good. It's not his spot.
You know what? The thing with McTominay is just not. He's like a semicircle, in my opinion. He's not a full circle. He's a semicircle, and to be the best for us in Man United in that position, you've got to be a full circle. You've got to be able to do everything and do it quite well. But McTominay, he can't. He's got certain parts of his game that he can do, but then he hits his ceiling. You know, and that's where we find ourselves in a bit of a pickle if he's in a specific situation where he has to do something really, really intelligent, and he can't think of what to do. What does he do? He'll put the ball backwards.
That's okay. At least he doesn't give the ball away like Fred. Fred just passes it to the other team.
Yeah, Fred. I mean, Fred's another story. I think it's time for Fred to go as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the comments now. We're going to go through the comments. I know, Yank, you got to go, haven't you? Very shortly.
I'm happy that I got to have my last words be defending my second favorite player at the club. Because
there you go. Okay. Fine, that's
luckily, you can't attack my favorite player. My favorite player you can't attack because he's Luke Shaw.
So Diogo is a 21 and Trippier see you later, Yank. Yank, where can we find you before you go?
Yank talking smack on everything: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, everything that you could possibly find me on where I'm doing anything of any sort is on that right there. Literally everything you can find me on is there. I'm trying to get back in the swing of doing videos. Twitch, I'm hoping to get some streams of me doing a couple Road to Glories and my own podcast as well. And then Twitter, I'm pretty active. If you ask anybody who has me on Twitter, I'm pretty active on there as well. So just go give me a follow. I appreciate everyone. Twitter, I try and follow back literally everybody who follows me. And if I don't, please let me know and I'll get right on it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for coming in, mate. Thank you so much, mate. And we'll have you on again sometime soon. We are literally going to run for another 10 minutes now. So, and then I've got to go on the Man United agenda for the quiz. Again, this is why I'm sweating. I don't want to rush too quickly. Harshil Shah. Diogo is 21, not matured as a defender. Trippier brings experience which we don't have in cover for the right. Brandon Williams going on loan. Diogo going back to AC. Box says Ole needs a fast start. Can't lose to Palace at home or get beat by Spurs. Talk him, you laugh out loud from Static. Harshil Shah says rum and brandy. There we go. Coffee. I drink green tea, some coffee, some alcohol type of drink. Anything else is fine. Other beverages are available. Thank you, Static. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Talk MU, I swear you are Anthony's brother.
Wait, you see Anthony there, Static, right? He's from like down that there neck of the woods, right? And he's dead good with socks and curtains.
Really? Where's the rubbish? Harshil Shah Stadium coming next year. Harshil Shah, Sancho held up due to final add-ons, but clubs are closing to sign in. Yeah, that's be done by the end of July. Main transfers. 2022? I probably believe that. Box Varane saga will go on for a long time. Yeah, it will. Probably another 3 years. Charlie big up. Nani plus Anderson were unveiled at the same time. Yeah, I did like that deal. I did like Anderson as well. Like, he did quite a good job for us. He got a little bit lazy at the end, but he was a good talent sometimes.
No. Anderson was like, mate, no. Sorry about it.
No, I did kind of like him at first, but then he got a bit bad. Big up panel, big up Maisie. Thanks for checking up on me and asking after me whilst I've been at the hospital today.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Matt. Fuck off. We are live. I'm coming for you, Matt. I've got your address, remember? Yeah, right, that's creepy, Stephen. Stop it now. You haven't had. He actually has, because he sent me a letter to send to Anthony Hamilton. Right? Anthony Hamilton.
Yep.
Hamilton's dad. If United fans want Pogba to stay, then big up Football Man Sam as well, who has come on our show. I think about a year ago as well, mate. You've got to get yourself back on. Definitely have. If United fans want Pogba to stay, then they are sniffing the wrong stuff. If United are to progress further, Pogba will not be part of any plans. Good point. Do you think, guys? And SVD TV says she has enough fuel money without you helping.
I've not started yet.
So, would you agree with this? Like, just to finish up, then, would you agree on what Football Man Sam says here about Pogba? Seeing as he was the headline of the show today, Mr. B.
You know what? I think, in all fairness, if they get if Ollie gets the formation right, it doesn't matter who plays in the position that Pogba will be playing in. If he changes it and get it right, the thing with formations, you've got the system. The players in it are the ones who add their own individual something to the system. Get Ollie, sort out the system. Whether Pogba is in it or not shouldn't affect the way that we're going to be playing. As long as he doesn't play the double pivot with them two in it.
At the end of the day, I do think when you look back at Pogba's years he's been here, you think, yeah, he has been quite disappointing, paying all what we have done for him, and then we've only won a couple of trophies. Like, you expect a lot more of Paul Pogba at the end of the day. Maybe, yeah, if he does stay and we get that defensive midfielder, and you think, oh yeah, he might do better, but then you think he might not do better. Cause, like you say, it's Pogba. 1 minute he can be like, yeah, I want to play and all that. Next minute he's got his agent spouting out, and Pogba might be like, oh, can't be bothered playing today. Like, do you get what I mean? And it's just, it can bring a lot of negative energy sometimes, and it's not a good example for the young players as well, in my opinion. You want good role models at Manchester United, especially when you're getting youngsters as well, like Alanga coming. You've got Hannibal there. You've got Shortire there. You want good examples at the club, like Bruno or Maguire, to say, yeah, feel like we're crucial. We've been playing every single game. We just want a bit of good leadership at the club, like stuff like that. Have a good voice in the dressing room, and I don't feel like Pogba is that sometimes, and it can be quite negative. I feel like with Pogba or without Pogba, if we get the right signings, we don't exactly need him, because we can just play Donny if we do need that midfielder.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, like I said earlier on, it only works if we got a number 6 and Paul Pogba's arts, isn't it? We've got to have both of those things. If we ain't, it's not going to work.
What about you, Tricky?
I'm not so sure about the attitude thing. I think it's kind of a myth. I'm not gonna lie, with Pogba's attitude or his vibe at Manchester United. I think he's actually a massive role model in the Manchester United dressing room. I think a lot of players look up to him. I have not heard one bad word coming out of the club regarding Paul Pogba. I think his problem is his agent. That is something I do not understand with Paul Pogba.
You know what?
Just sometimes, yeah.
You've just hit the nail on the head, because when you talk about...
Hang on, can I cut in? Because at the end of that there, Football Man Sam, I thought you said challenging for titties. It did look like that.
Right. When you say that, the players look up to Paul Pogba. When you look up to a player like that, and that player ain't doing it and ain't performing, that is not a good combination, because it breeds a culture of disappointment. It breeds a culture of I can't think of the word, but it's just not a good thing when you're looking at somebody like that and they let you down.
I think his agent is the biggest problem about this. It's just at times where, remember last season, of course, against Leipzig, the night of the Leipzig game, Mino Raiola came out and said Paul Pogba's leaving. He's not going to be at Manchester United next summer. He did not have to say that. Absolutely unnecessary for him to say that. And I try to defend Pogba as much as possible, but I just can't when something like that happens.
You see, can I say this to you,
Tricky? Quickly, because I need to ask Static. Static has got a question quickly, and then got to go.
I forgot what I was going to say now, Matt. You've daft it. What was I saying, Tricky? Just remind me, Tricky, what you were just saying.
No. Let's go. Why don't you answer this then, Tal? Just because we got to get things going here. And Static did ask this question before: should Man United for Trippier for everyone? Before we
I said it earlier. Static, that it's experienced. He brings strength and depth to the squad. You know what? He's worth 40 million. Go and get him. Do it. Don't he can't be dawdling and hanging about with these kind of deals. If we've identified him as a target and he fits into our plans, we'll spend the bleeding money.
Mr. B, you agree on that?
Hello? Can you hear? Is this off mute?
Yeah, you're there. Now you're off.
No, you're off.
Now you're off again.
No, you're saying move on. I think you're saying move on to somebody.
Amazing.
For me, I feel like Trippier would be essential at Man United, but the 40 million, I just don't really feel like I'd do 40 million when he's on his last year of his contract. He would be a good buy for us. It'd be good to have a competition alongside Wan-Bissaka doing that rotational, but I just really can't. I really would not want to pay 40 million, especially if he's going to, say, for example, he's going to be a backup and he plays 3 games all season. You wouldn't want that, would you, at the end of the day?
No, Maisie, what I'm saying earlier was it's the price of the price of success. It's the price of winning the league. If those 3 games that he plays saves us from the opposition scoring against us, or he puts a couple of crosses in that gets us a goal or 2, whatever, that gets us over the line and takes us by winning the league by a point or 3 points, then it's worth the 40 million.
And what if he doesn't?
Well, no, this is the thing, is that Ollie has identified him and the coaching staff. Sorry, if they've identified him as part of their plans and he's going to fit into what they're doing, then he's worth the 40 million to them. It's simple as that. It's like when we were talking about Ben White to Arsenal, and I said Ben White is worth 50 million to Arsenal right now. It's simple. I don't understand how people can't work that out. Yeah. Simple.
Then, Mr. B, are you there? Just to quickly end off as well, because we really do need to get going, don't we, Mr. B? What do you make of what Static's saying? Do you think we said it earlier anyway.
Microphone. Sorry. Yeah. Trippier comes for 25 mil. Anything under 25 mil, take him. Anything over that, don't bother. Don't stretch it out. Don't long it out. Don't do the normal Man United. If after a week or 2 weeks they decide that there's no deal to be done, move on to something else. Don't sit down begging them for us to still say, no, we're not going to budge. Move on to something else. There has to be other targets involved. So
that's the thing, Mr. B. They'll know.
I've got to. I'm going on the Man United agenda in 5 minutes. I've got to.
Okay, go on.
I hate to do it to you, man, but I've got to do it. I can't.
To be continued.
We're going to have to end up there. Tricky, Maisie, Mr. B, Talk MU, thank you so much for coming and joining us. We are going to shout out your social media platforms. Everybody that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Smash the like, smash subscribe, share it. Show it to your family, show it to your friends, show it to people at work. I don't care who you show it to. Just pump the person on the street and just show them the video, all right? Get a spread worldwide, like clover in the field right now. It's so hot. It's so beautiful. Love it. Loving life. Tricky, where are you? Where are you, mate? Where can we find you?
Tricky Red Devils on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and we've got TikTok as well. yeah, we do everything Manchester United, of course, covering match day coverage, transfer news, general news, and everything Manchester United.
Tricky, thank you so much for joining us, mate. Much a privilege.
Thanks for having me.
Coming
Thanks
out
for
from
having me.
Egypt, yeah?
Yeah, pretty hot as well here.
Brilliant. Yeah, I bet it is, mate. I bet it is. Thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
MU.
Yes, same place. Twitter, iTalkMU, Man United Agenda, Rich Sports, SPP TV, Red United TV, blah blah. Go on and on, everywhere. Well, thanks for having me, mate.
Mate, thanks for coming on and thanks for helping us out as well.
No, mate, no worries.
Mr. B, where can we find you apart from in 3 minutes?
You can find me on the Man United Agenda on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Mr. B Online on Twitter. Done.
Thank you, Mr. B. Thanks for coming on, mate, once again.
No problem, man.
I'm having you on, mate. Maisie.
You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter is at 2_ MUSC Maze.
Maisie, thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you just done two now. You've done in 1 week. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as well. Check us out on the Man United Agenda. Coming up now, the quiz time. And you've got, I believe, Dr. Feelgood's vlog coming up.
He's on now, but we don't worry about that. We get you on the show.
Right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Smash the subscribe, share, like, and once again, we will see you for United Across the Pond next Thursday, 7 p.m. Until then, sayonara.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.